Good morning, Cog Squad. I am Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm. About said that wrong, Nugget. We're with Cog Hill Farm and Mrs. Cog Hill Farm. And standing in front of the mud hole pond, I am happy to report out of 14 baby ducks that hatched, we still have 13. That is incredible. I'm gonna try to show y'all some of them because I call them ants. That's what they look like from up here. Mary Carl will get the binoculars and zoom, be able to look a little closer than the naked eye can, and she can count them from that way. Now, I actually stood here a minute ago and counted off each dot, but that's what they look like, little ants down there. I'm gonna zoom in with my phone, and that way y'all can see a little clearer picture of these babies and how far they're getting about. Okay, so you see a Muscovy. That's a Muscovy duck right there. That is a call duck, and I believe a male mallard. There are some ants right there, 3 of them. Let's see, there's an ant. That's a call duck. There are more ants. Y'all, they're everywhere. You can see them on that side of the bank swimming. They are separated from mama, not so much dependent on being by her side. And I am just amazed that 13 are still alive and well. You can even see one, let's see, 2 right there. I promise y'all, I've counted them and counted them and counted them. There's 2, and there's 13 still with us, and I can hardly believe it. And the reason I'm so surprised that they're still alive is because she's done this before. Not 14, but she's taken her ducks, her babies, down to the pond. Actually, maybe this mama, another mama as well. And they've never lived past a couple of days. And I think we had a lot of, well, I know we had turtles in the pond at that time. There was a lot more water in the pond. Nugget chasing a goose for whatever reason. And maybe the turtles were picking them off. Maybe it wasn't aerial predators after all. Maybe it was more of a turtle problem. Have not seen any turtles since the water has gotten so low. Soon as I do, I'll trap them and have to make a decision, but maybe the turtles were the problem the whole time. So I dropped off some food for the ducks and geese and Nugget, and I'm headed to the barn, and I want to show y'all backwards what happened yesterday. I couldn't figure out a better way to do this than record it over 2 days, so we're going back a day, and you're going to see what happened yesterday before we get to the barn and see what happens today. I haven't actually been to the barn yet, so watch this footage from yesterday and we will continue. Y'all, you can probably tell by the look on my face what I'm about to show you. Let's go into the milk room where something special has happened. Times, let's see how many. Okay, here's the big reveal. We have 4 out of 5 that have hatched. Isn't this amazing? One of them is brand new hatched. One of them is a little bit not so far along having hatched. And 2 of them are ready to be removed from the brooder, or incubator, I should say. I'm going to shut that back real quick while I grab this basket. We're going to have a basket with 2 ducks in it. I'm going to set my camera up so we can, I want to take a look at this number 5 egg as well, because if you remember when I candled them, I'm trying to get this tripod open and it's not wanting to go. There we go. So if y'all remember when I candled them, I felt like 5 out of the 6 were gonna hatch. This one, I don't know. Okay, this one is, oh, I don't feel good about that one. We're going to have to come back. We're going to have to come back. But this is number 1 that's ready. This is number 2 that's ready. And the reason I know that is because they're completely dry. Now, I've got them a little set up in a stall, and we're about to see how that's going to work out. Okay, little ones. 2 duckies in a basket. Not too much cuter than 2 duckies in a basket. In a clean stall. So this is Snow White and her dwarf stall. And this is where Snow White and her dwarfs actually live. So they're outside at the moment with the door shut because we got the stalls all cleaned out and freshened up. But here we are in the brooder, and I've got a stock tank here. It's got a big crack on the other side. So this is the one Jason tried to, it's on this side. He tried to fix it, and it could still probably hold water up to about there, but we don't part with things, we repurpose them. And here we are with a tote, which Bramble's gonna get in. And I'm not too afraid about Bramble being in here with them. But I did bring a cover that I built. Be needing to dip their beaks. You can look at them under supervision. Look at there. All right, what do you think? A very long time ago, for a purpose similar to this. And y'all could see, I'm gonna have to make some rearrangements with my heat lamp. I have a pad, a heating plate, and I thought I may use that anyway. Because ducks don't require the same amount of heat that chicks do, they do need to be kept warm when they're this little, but they don't require as much heat. And I could do one of 2 things. I can raise the light up to where it's not so close to the wood there. You see, this is one of the safety cage lights, so there's no chance if that bulb breaks that the components are gonna fall in and start a fire. It's a safety safe light. But this is gonna stay on there. And I'm gonna plug that heat plate up for them, leave this light on while I'm in the barn, and show them where the heat source is so they can make up their mind if they need to be warmer or if they need to be cooler. If you see them panting, you know they're too hot, and hopefully they will have sense enough to move from under the light. They're so tiny. Let me show y'all in my hand how tiny they are. Look at that. That is the palm of my hand. Little one. And yes, your friend's not going anywhere. This is number 2. Okay, let y'all feel this heat back here so you can decide if you want it or not. There you go. Does it feel good? Yeah. That probably feels pretty good, doesn't it? Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I raised any baby ducks that I feel like I'm going down memory lane, and he is shaking a little bit, so I may get the heat plate plugged up as well as the heat light, and then they'll see where it is before I eliminate the light. Let's do that. All right, so here's my heat plate, and some of you have probably seen it before. It's made by the same company that we bought the candler from, Brencia, and it's called Eco Glow. It's a safety heater. So you just adjust the feet to the height that you want, and the heat plate keeps warm right here, and it does indeed keep them warm. However, if you're in the wintertime and you're doing chicks, this is not ideal for cold weather. If I was in this barn and it was cold outside, I wouldn't depend on this to keep anything warm. But ducks, they just don't require the same amount of heat that chicks do. And you can see that they have settled down. They're not doing the chirping as much as they were. So let's see about how high that would be. Yeah, it needs to be higher than that. All right, I'm gonna make our adjustments. So I turned the heat plate on and I'm letting it get warmed up, but I guarantee you it will not be long before these little boogers are playing in that water. Ducks have to be the nastiest but cutest animals that you can raise, and that's a fact. We usually use a milk jug and cut a hole in it, which I'll do that in a couple of days, but I want them to get good and hydrated before I do that because they will start to swim in their water and just make a nasty mess. And I'll show y'all what I plan to do with the milk jug. I think he's fixing a drink on its own. You were about to. I dipped their beaks and I brought it down here where the heat is. If y'all remember, the mom and the 14 babies, she hatched them and she immediately took them across the road and down to the pond. It was that afternoon. So they don't waste much time before they get in the water. And I can guarantee you the water temperature is much cooler than the air temperature is, which it's 86 today here in Alabama. And you know, nighttime temperatures are getting down into the 50s. Oh. Found a little drink. I think he found it. And they will have, I will put the heat plate in there for them to get up under and turn the light off once it gets warm enough. And I feel comfortable with the light being off. They are so precious. Now I got to go check on this one that appears to be shrink wrapped. I hope it has not passed away. We knew that it was in the process of hatching, but did not do anything to it because, now look, you can't jump out. That's a leaf. That is a leaf. Oh my goodness. And yes, I do have them some special starter, and I just opened the bag up when I was getting everything set up, and I think I'm gonna have to do something a little bit different. I'll show you why. I walk away for 2 seconds and I get told, come back, come back. But this is duck and goose feed. It's made by our favorite feed company. That was a tail of a cat, Kalmbach, and it is indeed formulated for ducks and geese. If you know about raising ducks and geese, you know that they require a special feed. And that is because their little bodies need more niacin than other animals. And a lot of people will add niacin to the mix. They'll add brewer's yeast. Bramble, goodness. Yeah, I'm not shaking like that. That's my cat. He's wanting some loving. They'll add brewer's yeast to the feed mix, and I did not know that our feed store had this formula that's special for ducks and geese. So I looked it up online first, and sure enough, you can give it to them from hatch until they're of laying age. Provide free choice oyster shells to ducks and geese of laying age. So when I went to our feed store, Jones Feed and Seed, and I asked if they had it, and they said yes, I was excited. But here's what I found out. When you got newly hatched ducks or even geese, these pellets are great when they get up in size a little bit. Not so great when they're this little. And it even says on the bag, if you'll read, that it says feeding directions, that the first 2 weeks of life, this feed may need to be crumbled up. And I thought that, but then when I read it on the bag, it reassured me that my thoughts were correct, that pellet is a little bit too big if it's a just hatched duck or goose. So I'm going to take a bag of this home. I'm going to grind it all up. It's important that they get water first. And yes, they're going to mix the food and water. It's just what they do. But I got them situated. I got them on some heat. They're out of the incubator. So going to go home and grind that after we check on this other duckling. Okay, these guys are just a peeping, but they are still, I mean, y'all can see how wet they are. They have not been hatched very long at all. Okay, so come to find out, that particular egg was the one that we candled, and it appeared solid black. I didn't think that one of them was alive, and that was it. There is one egg that's left in the incubator, and he's still working to get out of that shell. So that egg is going to stay in the incubator, and I'm going to wait on these other two to dry out without opening it again until I can see that they're ready to come out. You can kind of see those two. They're right beside each other. They're under the motor, so you really can't see them, but they are right there. And then the unhatched egg is going to be right over here somewhere. Where is it? I think it's on this back wall. But I do definitely need to let them have time to dry. I'm not just going to pull them pull them directly out because they have not been hatched very long. So y'all stay tuned, and we will grind the pellets up and feed these two that have been hatched. Then it should be about time to decide if I'm going to let these guys rest the night away in the incubator, or if tomorrow would be better for them once they're completely dried off. All right, can y'all see the eggshell? The baby that's out, that's leaning up against it. It is that egg right there. See the little hole in it? If you sit there and stare at it, you can see him or her working on that shell, trying to bust through. And the other two are not quite dry yet. I'm really more concerned about this one. Back up a little bit. The humidity is built up on the incubator and it's hard to see inside, but I just think it's best for these two to stay in here overnight, and we'll check them again in the morning. And hopefully number 3 will be out. Looks like these might be going to try to help him out. I hear you in there, baby. Just a little bit more time. Yeah. Especially this one. Oh, goodness. Can't even walk good yet. No. But I think in the morning, giving them a rest in this warmth will be just what they need for tomorrow, which is going to be a big day. Big day tomorrow, and you're helping your little sibling get out of that shell every time you move around. And they do indeed eat the contents that are left inside the shell for their first little meal. Look at there. There he goes. He's pecking away. How precious is that new life? 5 out of 6. Don't count your ducks before they hatch, but it looks like it's going to be 5 out of 6. And that's a pretty good percentage, considering it's been a minute since I hatched any ducks. I did go by the rules, and I spritzed them, and I turned the incubator off, and I simulated Mama the best I could. Well, before I go back home for the night, I wanted to show y'all one last glimpse at the 2 babies that are in the trough. They were quiet as a little mouse until they heard me speaking. You can see one of them is completely under this heat plate. One of them's kind of hanging halfway out. And it is going to be 54 degrees tonight, which is not that cool. But I did raise the heat light, left it hanging above, and I've got it hanging from a wire. I don't know if it looks as high as it actually is, but it's well away from the wood where nothing can happen. And I just want to make sure that they're warm enough. They can get out from under heat if they need to. And these first few nights will be, aren't they so precious? They will be very, well, they just got to make it through these first few nights. I know, baby. I'm coming back to see you tomorrow in the morning, okay? I promise you. They think I'm their mama. One last thing, I did get them some food to mix with their water and make that nasty mess that ducks make. And I also ground up a whole Ziploc bag full, and you can see it is much smaller. I mean, it's just little bitty teeny tiny pieces compared to what those pellets are. So this will be much better for them to consume at such a young age. So as I'm almost to the barn to begin my feeding routine for the morning, y'all can see how surprised I am that 4 had made it out of the shell before I left last night. 2 were in the makeshift brooder, and 2 more were left in the incubator to dry overnight. That one was making its way out of the shell. So let's see if that one is hatched. I know those 2 are dry, so they need to go in with the ones that were put in last night. And the one that did not appear to be going to hatch when I kindled them did not hatch. So 5 of 6 That's what we're thinking. I hear some peeps, but we knew that was going to happen because we knew that 2 were hatched. Let's see, what do we have? Oh my goodness, 3 little babies and they're all dry. Well, the one on the right, you can tell is the most recent to hatch. He's not as dry as those other 2, but gracious goodness, y'all are precious. Oh my goodness. 5 out of 6, y'all. That is incredible. Okay, let me get my basket. Like they know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Here's the basket that I used yesterday. Gonna grab those 2 that are completely dry. Gonna leave that last one in there for just a little bit longer. Okay, 2 babies. Hey there. Oh, you're so little. You're the most recent one to hatch. Okay, let's get y'all out of here. 2 little babies. Now I'll come back for you, okay? Oh, goodness, you got a little funny looking foot. Oh, it's just so soft and it's on that plastic. Okay, 2 more babies in a basket. You're going to go join your brother or sister, or brothers and sisters, both. I don't know which is which. Can't have any way to tell the sex of baby ducks and don't really care. However, the males are prettier, but we don't necessarily want a bunch of males, but we can't control that. So here we go. Pocket's not happy with me. Loretta's not happy with me because I went straight into the milk room. Snow White and her friend said, let me out. Oh goodness, they're under the light. I'm glad I decided to leave the light on. All right, babies, let's see. I know, y'all hear your siblings, don't you? Oh goodness, here comes Bramble. I want to show you the water. Here comes Bramble. As soon as I get the lid off, here he comes. All right, there's your water. And look at there, there's your friends. All right, let me dip you, Let's see. Let's move y'all's feet over here since you decided this is the best place. Oh my gracious, they're so precious. All right, we're gonna let those guys get settled in. Same thing happened yesterday. They cried for probably an hour and then they settled down. There was no noise whatsoever when I came in this morning. I didn't even know if they were alive, and finally I heard one of them peeping, but you can hear. Those are the 2 newest ones. They just have to get adjusted. They don't know where they are, and I'm gonna get the rest of the farm fed, and that way they can get adjusted and we'll go back and we'll visit some more. You know, as bad as this sounds, the ones that went with the mama, the 14 babies, you never heard a peep out of them. They were with their mama. I guess they assume I'm their mama, I walk away, and that's when they start crying. So, Pocket, I'm getting you, baby. Good morning, Miss Peachy. You sure aren't bothered by the sound of those babies hollering, are you? Peachy said I could care less, just give me some breakfast and I'm going on a stroll. And it's obvious that Pocket lays down in the stall at night. When she gets up every morning, she's got shavings all over her. And I want to say thank you to those that have sent horse brushes. We now have a set of brushes for each horse, which is perfect because we don't have to go bring them from this barn to that barn and whatnot. So thank you if you have sent a horse brush. It is appreciated. And Pocket has her very own. Let me find it and show it to y'all. It's awesome. I know Jason talks about brushes a lot, but now Pocket has her very own. So whoever sent a set of 3 of these, I appreciate it. There was no name in it. I'll show y'all in a little bit how well this does at getting hair. Well, I'll show you right now. I gotta be Loretta, but I just want to show y'all how well it does at getting Pocket's hair off. I'll show y'all some more hair where I've been working on her. I've got to get this up, but I left it right there because we've got a bird nest that's up in the rafters, and I thought, well, maybe if I leave it right here, that bird will appreciate it being there, but it's still there. And you can see Pocket's hair. It comes off on the side of the post, and she's just a woolly booger. But y'all, look, it's got little tiny blades on it, and it does wonders for getting out this old, look at that. Look at the hair that comes out. Now, I'm not going to work on you too much right now because I got to feed the rest of the farm, but I wanted to show y'all how amazing this does on Pocket because I haven't used this one because we haven't had one over here. But now that we have 4 of them, I'm sorry, forgot about Maggie, have 4 of these brushes, can keep one over here for Pocket. All right, Loretta's up next. Or maybe the Silky should be up next. All right, ladies, y'all did it. Y'all are up next. I'm gonna open this door. Hopefully I don't find a pig out here. You know what? I bet I didn't shut that door. I did shut it. Thankful. Come on out, boy. Well, no boys. Come on out, girls. We gotta get Loretta fixed up. Y'all enjoy this sunshiny day. I hear you over there, big girl. Where are you? Where are you? I know. All right, here's Miss Loretta. Miss Loretta is up next. Get her fed before I let the goats out. Hey, beautiful lady. There you go. Got your Flintstone vitamins and your squeals of joy there. And I'm just going to pull your gate shut. And y'all, if you hadn't been following along since Gus passed away, she no longer totes her bowl around. And it makes me feel kind of bad because I now know that she was trying to get away from him. And, you know, it just, I don't know. I feel bad because she felt competition for food. And there was no competition. I mean, she was going to get fed, but she felt threatened by him. So now she just keeps her bowl right there and finishes her breakfast. All right. We're not shutting that all the way so you can get back out. And we no longer feed Mr. Red in the morning. He was getting a special helping of goat feed in addition to what he gets in the evening. But y'all, let me show you. Here he is over here he's coming out right now. This is Red and he looks great. He has very much improved in his body and we're satisfied with where he is now. So don't have to feed Mr. Red separate anymore. Curtis, that's not nice of you. Not nice of you. Now, Nubians are kind of like a Holstein cow. They've got those hip bones that kind of stick out. They're a large dairy breed. You can see Capri's a wide load. She's got a hay belly, but you can still see those hip bones sticking out. And Bootsy, a Nigerian dwarf, she's wider throughout. So just a different, and little Laura, sweet little Laura, can't let little Laura go without some loving. But they're just a different body disposition. But we didn't like the way Red was looking, and he's finally beefed up some. Where are Jessie and Honey? Okay, I see them. They're out in the second part of the pasture over there grazing in the shade. Scared me for a minute there. All right, cows are up next, and then we will visit some chicks. See how they're doing. All right, bovine crew. Y'all ready? Tater, I know you are, girl. I know you are. Come on, Matilda. Come on over here, baby. You gonna stay over there? All right. Come on. We had to play a little bit of musical chairs this morning. Had to figure out everybody's place, but you can see the difference in what I'm talking about Holstein. See Moody's hip bones? They just protrude out from his side, whereas Mildred, who's a different breed, a Charolais, her hip bones don't do that. Neither do little man's or Tater's. But you get over here to Miss Matilda, same thing happens again. You can see those hip bones sticking out, and it's just the breed. Listen. No baby ducks crying. They've settled down for now until they hear something that sounds like a mama. Okay, now we're gonna go check on my baby chicks, which are, I hear them, which are all 9, still alive and doing well. Y'all come see me this morning. Goodness, that one had his leg kicked out. He was sunning. Except not sunning. I gotta get y'all's feeder filled back up. Come here. Come here, got some babies. Got some treats for the babies. Come here. Look at here. This is the first time I've offered them treats. It's actually just mealworms. It's okay. It's okay. Look at there. I might have to put them on something to get them used to it. Let's see. Look at here. Oh, I dropped it. Come here. Look at here. Come here. Who wants a treat? Look at there. What is that? Look at the, you know, when I first got the chicks, you couldn't tell a whole lot of difference in the cream leg bars and the copper morans, but now you can really tell that week difference. The copper morans had been at the feed store for an actual week, whereas he dropped it, she dropped it. The cream leg bars had came in that week, so they're a week difference. Look at here. Look, you want it? Get there. Don't want it? Come here. Come on. There you go. Yeah, it fell in there, didn't it? We got to get that cleaned out. Aw. Oh my goodness, that one fell through too. That didn't work, did it? Oh man, we got to figure out something. Mealworms just fall through. Well, I get finished showing the chicks and I come over to find all 4 ducklings eating, which is a very, very good sign. Of course, they've been mixing their food with their water. I don't know if y'all can see in their water, but it's already very nasty. That's just what ducks do. And that's why I mentioned that milk jug method. It keeps the water cleaner and allows them to stay out of it. So if I can come up with a empty jug, I will do that and show y'all what I'm talking about. They should all be close to the same size, close enough to where when I cut the hole, it won't matter how high or how low it is. And y'all, here's the thing is when I found these eggs and put them in the incubator, I knew Mary Crawl and I had a trip planned for April, but I did not realize that the hatch date would be a couple of days before when I leave. So Jason is going to have to take care of these babies for 10 days while Mary Crawl and I are at a bird banding event in South Alabama. And he hasn't said anything. He'll do it with no problem, but I know he's not gonna be very excited about taking care of baby ducks because they are the nastiest creatures on the earth. So my next video to update you guys, and I won't be able to spend time with them to let them get to know me. And anyway, enough of that. My next video will be April the 30th, which is a whole 2 weeks away from now. I know he'll do a good job taking care of them. It's just the cleanup that's such a pain. The babies will do fine. He'll know when to turn the light off, and he'll know when to move them out of this enclosure if needed before I get back. But I wish I could take them with me and spend time with them. That was my plan, was to be able to get attached to them. You know what I mean? But you can see why I ground the food up. They're so tiny. They're so little, and those pellets are just too big at this point for them to swallow the whole pellet. So keep that in mind if you are new to raising ducklings or goslings. They do need a food that is fortified for ducks and geese because of their different nutritional needs. Do not need the medication that chicks need for sure. Non-medicated feed if you do want to add the brewer's yeast and niacin, different things that ducks need in order to thrive. But my recommendation is to just buy that duck and goose Kalmbach feed. The lady at that owned, well, Miss Teresa at the feed store, she said she has people that, you know, ask about it, and it's literally $3 more a bag to get something that's already formulated for ducks and geese. And if you don't have a Kalmbach feed store or someone in your area, you can always order it from Chewy. They offer free shipping if it's a certain dollar amount. It's definitely worth it to have healthy ducks. Don't create angel wing, and they will not have the leg problems that are likely if you don't use the right feed. I come to gather eggs, and there are 2 of you up there. One of them flew down almost directly on my head, and another one is still up there. So the little anconas are still at their, well, egg laying abilities up high. I know you're special, girl. You just don't have to show it in that way. We got a brand new nesting box. Look at this one over here, walking the tightrope. If you lay an egg up there, I can tell you what's going to happen. It's going to roll right off. And that's not going to be good. You know, I hadn't thought. Wonder why they haven't laid back here in this corner. It's the same design as the front. What is keeping them from laying back there? Oh, that might be her plan. Yep, that's what it is. Got a brand new nesting box over here. Oh. So maybe this was your idea. Maybe you decided that you would just lay it on the ground, huh? Oh my goodness. And you see why we have the rollout nesting box. That was laid on the ground, and all it did was roll across the metal, and you can see the imprints of the dirtiness on the outside of the shell. We saved that one for us. Don't wash them when we put them out at the stand. We saved the ones with the dirty shells for us. Now, girls, what have you girls done today? I don't know which end to start on. I got girls going in both ends. Maybe I need to change my egg gathering time. I tend to interrupt the process when I gather first thing in the morning. They're just getting going. Let's see. All right, I think we're gonna need a big basket, girls. Let's try this gray one. Got the one from the ground. 1, 3, 5, 13, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 27, 28. Now we're going to check the new box. All right, girl, I gave you ample opportunity to get in the box or get off the box. What will it be? I see an ancona in there right now. She's mad because she's hanging out on her end. But that's what that chicken is right there. So they do use the box. It's just certain ones that say, no, I'm not using the box. Come on out, girl. Or come on down. It's not that far of a jump. You can do it. Oh, my goodness gracious. Are you done? And what she's doing, I have no idea. She's turned around and around and around 55 times since I've been in here. Red chicken down, ancona out. Going to another box. That one wasn't set up just right, obviously. What we got going on over here? 3 eggs. 29, 30, 31. Okay, girl, I'm gonna let you out. 31. Are you going to the next one too? Are you done? 31. I don't know what she's doing. Let's see if there's any. No, they're all rolled out. Gotta let the bar up first. I guess she was just getting in position, because now she's squatted down panting. I hate to tell her, but I gotta get that egg beside her. And she better not knock these eggs out of my hand, or we're gonna have a problem. 31 in the basket. Look, I'm not messing with you. I'm just getting this egg. 32. Yeah, you stay. 32. Into the basket. What a beautiful basket of eggs. Well, I have more calendula to pick. The plant that just keeps on keeping on. So I'm going to take the eggs to the barn. I actually misplaced my clippers that I kept in the greenhouse when the mama duck had the babies that day, and I cut the calendula. I misplaced them. So I gotta go find me some clippers, and then we're gonna cut some flowers, get them in the freeze dryer before I head out. And before we end, I'm gonna get that last baby put in the incubator, but I do, not in the incubator, in the brooder. I do want him or her to be completely dried off and in better condition than what it is right now, because it hasn't been hatched long enough to go in with the others quite yet. So stay tuned on baby number 5. Well, it's been a few hours, and I want to see if the single baby duck is ready to be added to the rest of his crew. Let's see here. Oh, I hear some peeping. Do I hear some peeping? I brought the basket, but I left it on the counter. Oh, yes, you are all dry. Look at you. Yeah, I know you're lonely, baby. Guess what? We get to unplug this incubator, and we're going to give it a good clean out and get it back to Miss Catherine. Look at you, precious little life. Oh my goodness. He's sitting in the palm of my hand. I tell you, most ducks, when they hatch, they're little, yes, and they look like baby ducks, but they're not like this. A mallard is like a bantam chick when it comes to the size of a duck. And this is perfect example of a day-old mallard duckling. All right, let's go. Look at there. They're all up under the heat light. They're not panning. They're not shivering. So they obviously like the heat from the light. I think I'm going to take the heat plate out. Just let them use the light for a while. And right now I'm going to slide it back because I know Bramble's going to come. All right, and just like I said, Mr. Bramble came, so I just put a little crack in it. Yeah, go over there with them. Oh, they're so precious. So you can see the 4 originals kind of lying in the back, and they're just kind of looking at the new guy like, what are you and where did you come from? We knew you were in there with us, but you're going to be one of us very soon. Well, now that the babies are all settled in, I made a big change to the brooder in the meantime while I was waiting on that one to dry off. This side of this brooder, if you have been in feed stores, a lot of them have this same GQF setup that I do. But I normally don't use the hanging feed troughs. And I always feel like they're going to get out of what you have to adjust right here when they stick their feet out. And then I'm always scared they're not going to know how to eat. So let me show y'all just how adjusted and smart they are. I've got a few mealworms here, and I'm going to put them in the trough, and you'll see that they can stick their little heads through and eat just like they're intended to do. They act like little piranhas, and then they get it and they play chicken football in there. Come on, there's more over here. Look. Look, look, look. Oh my goodness gracious. That one is running for its life with a mealworm in its mouth. And I'm sure somebody stole it from it. That's just the way it goes. What little do they realize the trough is filled with them. Come here, babies. But they stick their head through this, and I sat here with them and I watched, and I made sure everybody could eat and safely get their heads back through. And it's just a lot better to use this than it is a feeder inside that brooder. Of course, the heat's still on, and then their water's still in there. But yeah, it's definitely less, goodness, less mess using the trough that's intended to be used. Oh, we got a runner again. I know y'all probably can't see it, but they get that mealworm in their mouth and they're just running. Running, running. Well, I am very happy 5 of the 6 ducklings hatched out. I'm not happy that I'm leaving, and I'm not gonna be able to see the babies for a whole 10 days. Jason will have to FaceTime me and show me, and I'll have to tell him what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. Of course, not his first rodeo raising baby ducks, but he'll do the best he can, and I appreciate him being willing to clean up after them, because that's the biggest thing with ducks. It's the mess they make. And I started thinking about cutting a hole in the jug, and I did find one that I could have used, but I want them to know how to drink before I do that. I want them to know where their water is, so I'm not gonna do the jug, but I bet when I get back, when they're 10 days old, they may or may not be too big to do it then, but we'll see. And we may end up doing that, because it does eliminate a lot of mess by putting a hole in a milk jug, and then the ducklings can't get in there and swim, and they don't mix their food. I probably shouldn't even talked about it if I wasn't gonna do it, but we did it in some of our previous videos when Mary Carl was little, and it worked out great. So if you're new to raising ducks or geese and you want a way to kind of keep them clean, Google the milk carton or milk jug, not a carton, a jug, a gallon jug. Distilled water jug worked fine. Cut you a hole in it, just their height where they can stick their head in it, but they can't get in there and swim. We made a mistake a couple of times where we made the hole where they could actually wiggle their little bodies in. Next thing you know, you got a duckling inside a milk jug swimming around. And that's quite a sight. So, but I will see y'all on, I almost said June, but I hope it's not June. It's gonna be April the 30th is the date it should be, my next video. And Jason's gonna be handling things on his own, which he'll do fine. So y'all wish me luck, because I don't do well with not having something to do all the time. And this is for Mary Carl, and of course we do things for children, our children, that sometimes aren't something that we particularly want to do. So I'll find something to occupy my time while she's working with learning about birds and how to band birds and different, things with birds. But we'll be fine, and we'll be back soon. And my ducks are gonna be good as grown by then, because they grow so fast. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you can't tell, I'm over the moon excited. And we're doing well. We've got 18 baby ducks at the moment. 13 at the pond and 5 in here. So 18's a good number, and maybe it'll stay that way. Who knows? Y'all be good.